Good morning. So glad to see you again. It's time for Exiles TV. I'm Kevin Gallagher, and he is Bill Profita.
Good morning. Glad to be with you this morning. So, I hope everyone survived the storm. For our viewers in Acadiana and in the southern part of Acadiana, particularly as we go toward into Terrebonne Parish and Vermilion Parish, I hope you and yours are okay. I think we got lucky with the storm surge.
I think there was less storm surge than was expected, but good God, the wind of the storm. I mean, have you seen any of the video coming out of Lake Charles?
Oh, yeah.
Just terrible, the amount of devastation in Lake Charles, Louisiana from Hurricane Laura. Television and radio took a hard hit. TV station KPLC in Lake Charles, their tower came crashing down. When a television station's tower comes down, that means they're off the air.
Now, was that their auxiliary tower, meant to send their microwave signals to their real tower?
That was their on-site tower, so it was probably a studio transmitter link.
Yeah, but still, they're gone.
Right. I don't know if that affects their ability to broadcast on cable, but they're in a bad way. Also, we understand the Cumulus radio station cluster in Lake Charles. That building took a direct hit, and the ceiling, the whole roof of the building, crumpled.
Well, and I know that they have some very large hospitals there, including a children's hospital, and they were transferring patients to Baton Rouge and points east because they had a lot of wind damage. They had some power problems. Hospitals never stay without power long. They've all got emergency generators, and they're all on Entergy, particularly builds a grid around those hospitals so that they get restored very, very quickly. But still, if you've got broken glass and wind damage, you're moving your patients. A lot of them have come to Baton Rouge. In fact, a lot of the Acadian ambulance crews that are assigned to Baton Rouge, including Joey Amoroso, by the way, our good buddy, went to do evacuation work. A lot of East Baton Rouge Parish EMS went and volunteered and helped out over there.
As a matter of fact, Bill, one of our scheduled guests for today called me and had to beg off and ask for another date on the program a week down the road, because in his real life, we're going to talk about musicians and people try and make their life as a musician amongst COVID-19. But he has been asked. He's also an employee of L'Auberge here in Baton Rouge, and they have been asking as many of their employees as can to get over to Lake Charles and help with the damage done at L'Auberge du Lac in Lake Charles. So that's we're gonna have that conversation about musicians a week down the road.
Well, we may be able to talk to him about what went on there in terms of his
absolutely
helping out. I was amazed that the Isle of Capri casino, which broke loose
and wound up jammed up against the I-10 bridge.
That apparently it did no damage because once they pulled it out, they opened that bridge back up. It might have been what we used to call a corporal work of mercy if it had taken that bridge down, because that bridge needed to come down, 30 years ago?
That I-10 bridge is one that if it's moving while you're crossing it, you can definitely feel it. You can feel that bridge a-rocking.
Now, I will tell you this. I saw our buddy John Spain on local TV in Baton Rouge yesterday. Those of you in the Baton Rouge area probably saw him as well, but for those of you in New Orleans, in Acadiana, in the river parishes, the Baton Rouge Area Foundation is a member of all of these city foundations. And the Southwest Louisiana Foundation, which is headquartered in Lake Charles, got devastated. Their building got hit. They always work, not just the one in Lake Charles, but the one in Baton Rouge. There is a gap. There's a lag time between the time the disaster happens and everybody else can get resources, particularly financial resources, in. It's usually about 7 to 10 days. And so BRAF, B-R-A-F, you can go to braf.org, and you can make a donation, and every bit of it goes, they've got a button. It goes to the Southwest Louisiana Area Foundation, and there are actually their employees working here in Baton Rouge at BRAF to take this money and get it distributed immediately in the Lake Charles area. That's the whole region. So it will do some good. In other words, they're going to find the people who, have a big hole in their roof and they can't get the supplies because they're financially wiped out by this as well. To fix they're going to give them that money right now. They're going to feed people until everybody gets organized and it all gets in. $1, $5, $10 donations, $20 donations have already totaled $300,000, and they got $500,000 in corporate donations just in their first days. So it's braf.org if you would like to help those folks quickly. This is meant to be a short-term deal until everybody else comes in. But boy, I tell you what, waiting is bad in that gap. If you're saying, when's Red Cross going to be here with, complete supplies? When's FEMA going to be here? When is all the feeding going to start in earnest? That gap can be very, very difficult. When we come back, crime in our area, probably yours too, and are you prepared for it when the Exiles returns? Thanks for being with us.
Taste the feeling. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Welcome.
Exiles TV. Bill, let's talk about crime. It's been another weekend of bad stuff happening in the capital region, and I'm sure if we took a look around at the other cities in the viewing area, we'd find it was also a bad time.
There is a specific type of crime that seems to be on the uptick in Baton Rouge. I'm going to assume that we're seeing similar upticks in places like Lafayette, New Orleans, Kenner, Metairie, these kind of areas, Slidell. And this is where somebody basically is attempting a home invasion because they know your schedule, and they're
They've
lying.
watched the house?
Yeah, they're lying in wait for you as you leave to go to work or whatever. Marty, I don't know if you can get a shot of this or not. If you're in Baton Rouge, you've seen this video. This is a lady in Baker, Louisiana, and her name is Gwendolyn McCoy, and this was captured by her Ring camera, her Ring doorbell camera.
Wow, look at that, man. He's got the gun right in her face.
She is on your screen to the right. He's got that big silver-plated 9mm pointed directly at her, a full mask. Now, she starts screaming her head off, and he tells her, be quiet, and he says, open the door. And she has her wits about her because she says, I lost my keys. I dropped them when you came running out at me. So they find the keys, and she knows the alarm's going to go off. When she opens the door, the alarm goes off, and he says, "Turn it off." And she says, "Well, I can't do the code yet." And he decided better not wait around. He runs. Now, this could have had a much more tragic ending.
He could have shot that woman just for the trouble.
Well, and he was able to get his hands on her. You know.
By the way, the video itself is hard to watch because there's also ring cameras also have audio.
Yeah.
And you can hear this woman's terrorized scream.
Oh, yeah. Are we off this shot yet, Marty? Can I take it down? Yeah, I can take it down. All right. Marty is doing the shot from my iPad.
Thank you.
But here's the question. Are you prepared? And I want to talk particularly to a lot of you ladies. You work right now. You work in healthcare. You work in education. You are leaving your house at 0 dark 30. And many of you have your car in a carport that's accessible from the street. Many of you leave at a very predictable time where somebody can be waiting to meet you at the door and force you back in. Are you protecting yourself? Two good friends of ours, former Chief Greg Ferries, who is now Chief Criminal Deputy, I believe, of West Feliciana Parish.
True.
And former Police Chief Pat Anglade.
Guest on this program.
Who is the head of CALIF, Capital Area Law Enforcement. They have started teaching concealed carry classes strictly for women. Greg Ferries is a noted defense firearms instructor in addition to being a career lawman. And Pat Anglade knows his way around getting yourself protected as well. And apparently, they are doing gangbusters with this.
I can't tell you how many people on social media have shared alarming videos, not just of incidents like this, but people just being physically assaulted out of nowhere. And the message is, arm yourself, learn to use the weapon, and be ready to defend yourself. Be ready to use it.
And again, this guy came, if you remember the picture now, this guy came from what would be straight into the center of this picture, which is a corner of the garage. So he had the concealment of both cars. But if that ring camera or another ring camera had been mounted on that corner, he would not have been able to get into that carport to accost her. Second thing, she's got all of her stuff in a backpack. She has got both straps on before she leaves the house. Harder for her to move, and she can't swing it like a weapon if somebody comes up. But the only thing she did that might have been protective was she had her keys in her hand. But we're seeing a lot more of armed people in carports and trying to get into the house. And so the question is, what are you doing to protect yourself? And are you willing to protect yourself? I mean, I think there are a lot of people that as he came around and started yelling, would have put 3 in his chest right away if they had been armed.
Now, here's my question. You do that. You turn instinctively, you got a stranger in your carport, and you put 3 in his chest right away. What's the law say?
Law says, good on you. We're taking out the trash today.
Is your carport castle doctrine, and does it end when you get in the driveway? How does that work out?
Anybody coming at you with a weapon. The minute you see the weapon,
I guess the case that happened
you can be having wedding pictures taken on the steps of the Capitol, and somebody comes after you with a weapon, boom.
There was a case a few years back here in Baton Rouge where a man found the burglar in the home, chased the burglar out of the home, shot the man dead as he was running down.
Can't do that.
Trying to run down the street. That's where castle doctrine ends, is when he's running away and you got to put him in the back.
Yeah.
And that's not some TV Western movie, you shot me in the back thing. It's just... You're not allowed to shoot somebody when they're not advancing on you.
Well, and the reason for that is very, very logical. They are no longer a danger to you if they're moving away from you. Now, if he tried to do a trick shot, if he'd picked up the weapon like this and put it over his shoulder and pointed the muzzle at you, yeah, you can shoot him in the back. But that isn't what happened. You cannot they scared you? I get that. They pissed you off. I get that. you still can't run them down and shoot them in the street.
One of the recent, fairly recent shootings that raised riots in America, they finally released a still frame from the body cam, and the guy is running from the police officer. He is also got that gun, and he's just trying to shoot behind him as best he can. So even if it's a wild ass shot, is it still is the officer still allowed, or is he encouraged, or is that going to be okay if he returns fire?
Well, let's talk a little bit about your home and how well you're prepared, and particularly those of you like this lady. I'm sure she comes out of that door the same time every day because that guy knew. He was waiting. And are you prepared as you see this crime ramping up? And I don't care if you're in Lafayette or New Orleans or Metairie or Slidell or Baton Rouge or Houma and Thibodaux, Morgan, you're seeing it. Are you changing your preparations a little bit? We'll even take some of your phone calls if you want when we come back on Exiles TV.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
For total home pest control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Back to Exiles TV, Kevin Gallagher, Bill Profita, and I'm going to assume you know who you are. We're talking
We'd
about...
like to know who you are.
Yeah, we'd like to know who you are. We'd like to talk about home security. We're seeing an increase in all of these creeping up to the door, creeping up to the carport, and trying to accost you. And
Excuse me.
We had a dramatic case in the city of Baker a night and a half ago that really, really got everybody's attention because all of it, the video and the audio, was caught on the homeowner's Ring camera. And it certainly is dramatic. But, you know, these folks are getting a little more sophisticated. They're stalking. They're checking out routines. Do you do anything differently at home right now? You know what I did? Even though they didn't need it, right before we were supposed to get all the wind and rain from Laura, I took all my cameras down and recharged their batteries, even though they weren't charging me, sending me a recharge signal. But you know, this lady here, God bless her that she wasn't hurt, but she rendered herself absolutely defenseless. And then she was about to violate the first rule of staying alive. Once you've got somebody pointing a gun at you, you never go anywhere with them.
Yep.
He kept saying, "We're going in the house. We're going in the house." You know what that meant?
I'm going to take you in there and I'm going to kill you and take whatever I want.
No, that meant you're at the advantage. He doesn't want to make noise or fire a gun out here. That's what that means. That's why you never go anywhere with somebody. So what are you doing?
So many want to take her in the house and possibly kill her and do, you know, God knows what else.
Well, the thing is,
he's not going to do that in the carport.
He's got all the time in the world. Once you're inside, under his control, he can go through all your drawers. He can steal what he wants. You know, if he decides he wants no witnesses, nobody's going to see him shoot you.
Right. If you're lucky, he'll tie you to a chair while he ransacks your house.
Yeah. You're lucky. You never go anywhere. Not only that, but she was basically kind of around the corner from him, and he was very close to her. So even an expert marksman would have trouble swinging a gun around and hitting somebody at close range if she had just run back where he came from. He'd have those cars in his way. But, see, in the aftermath of 9/11 and all of these school shootings and things of this nature, we have allowed ourselves to become easier targets by listening to good advice. Don't resist. Don't make a fuss.
I don't think that's good advice at all.
Don't fight back. You know, when they were hijacking all those airplanes to Cuba, there were some people, and I was one of them, says, one day it's going to be a madman that has a grudge against Pickett. You know, let's say he's got a grudge against Jones National Bank in Waynesboro, North Carolina, which doesn't exist. And he's going to take over that cockpit and steer that airplane and use it as a guided missile into that bank. And I was appalled by everybody in the aftermath of 9/11 that said, we never thought anybody would use an airplane as a weapon.
Oh, come on. Tom Clancy wrote about it in a novel years and years before.
Oh, read your history about 1944 to 1945 in the Pacific.
The Japanese pretty well perfected that.
Yeah. And the same thing, you know, when they say, oh, if somebody is sneaking up on your house, they're at the door with a gun saying, let me in. You don't let them in. It's going to take them time and noise to break that door.
Just a minute. It's not, if you got a deadbolt, it's not as easy to kick a door down as people would have you think.
Give us a call, 225-831-1029. And you and I, during the break, we're talking, statistically, the most dangerous place to be in the United States is a parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
All right, a lot of you ladies are going to be very, very angry at me. But I shop, I go to parking lots, and I see this. You get in your car, and you start stirring your purse, looking for something.
Where's my keys? Where's my keys? No, wait a minute.
Or maybe you grab the phone.
Presumably you had the keys out because you were able to unlock your car.
But if your keys are in your purse, your car is going to unlock. My car will if I'm close to it with my key in my pocket. The point is, your best safety feature is using that 5,000-pound object as your defensive perimeter.
Mm-hmm.
You get in, you lock the doors, you start it up, you put it in gear. And you move it. If someone comes up with a weapon, you punch it. if you hit a car that's in the parking lane behind you, that guy with the gun is not going to hang around. But there was a carjacking, this was like a year and a half ago, and I mean, I felt bad for this lady. She was so terrified. The carjacker, she was in her car, the windows were up, the doors were locked, and he had a knife, and he's saying, "Open the door."
And she did?
And she did.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
Well, the thing is, we have been put into a non-defensible position by people who say cooperate. You know when you cooperate? When there's a big, long counter between you and the guy, and he says, "Give me the money out of the register." And he's got the drop on you. All right? Then you give him the money and hope he goes away. But if it's at your home and they want to come in, if it's at your car, and that you need to fight, you need to get the hell out of there. And you know what? You need to be ready to get the hell out of there. There is nobody in a parking lot that's going to come and try to take your purse if they see your car is running. Because there's too many morons that'll be in there looking at the opposite seat, messing around, whose cars aren't running. They're an easier target.
I can only speak for myself. As one of the last times I did any Christmas shopping, I saw a lady walking with the packages. And I normally hate when people do this. I call them parking lot vultures, because they're sitting there waiting for you to get out so they could have your parking place. So there I was being a parking lot vulture. And I thought, well, this lady's got her packages, just one or two packages. In the trunk they go. There she goes. She's in the car. There's nobody behind me. I can wait a couple of seconds for her to back out of that parking place. A minute goes by. Then we're working on 2. And she hasn't put that car in gear and gotten the hell out of the parking spot.
Yes?
I didn't want to be rude, so what I did was I drove on and found another parking spot. But as I came around and I parked farther away but on the opposite side, and as I got out and I'm walking towards the store, it was Macy's, she's still in the car, still in the parking place. It's like, and I've harped on this many times, ladies, when you get in that car, you be prepared. Put it in gear and get the hell out of there.
I mean,
you can fiddle around with your purse and whatever and your telephone later. You're vulnerable in a parking lot. Get the hell out of there.
Have you heard the term sitting duck?
Yeah.
I mean, think about having a defensible position. Like I said, if this lady has more cameras now. A company volunteered to give this nice lady 3 more cameras.
Nice.
But if she'd had that camera on the eve of that garage, the light would have gone off, and she would have known because she had seen him on the camera, and he probably would have run off because of the light.
Other cameras around the outside of the home might have been able to detect that the home was being staked out.
Exactly.
Somebody had done their homework and understood about what time of the night this person left to go to work.
Yeah. So, I mean, here's the whole thing. Whether we like it or not, there are some times in modern day life that our homes, our offices, our automobiles need to be somewhat fortified. And I can remember years ago people saying, I don't want my home to be a fortress. To that I would say, do you want your home to be a target?
Why wouldn't you want your home to be a fortress?
Well, people saying, I don't want to believe that,
That's idealistically. It's like, idealistic. It's like, you better believe it. You better believe it. We've got crowds of people now that are hitting the suburbs and saying, come out of your house and give it to us. And you may think that's ludicrous, but they're not joking.
Listen, we get reports almost weekly in our neighborhood of somebody wandering around in the middle of the night that doesn't have a homeowner sticker on the vehicle they got out of, which means they don't live there. I don't think they're assessing whether or not the area near the drains needs to be swept of grass clippings.
Mm-hmm.
Call me an angry man.
I just think, Bill, that given what we see on the news every day for going on 90 days now in Portland and Seattle, and we see them try to do the same thing in smaller towns. We see Kenosha, Wisconsin, which is blowing up over what apparently, I'm sorry if I'm being unreasonable, but apparently looks like a righteous shoot. There's no reason on earth why police should let you get to your vehicle to reach inside and pull out anything if they've already have reason to believe that you're dangerous, that you're resisting.
And why can't we all just wait for the investigation to see what it says?
By the way, I saw a video that was from actually a couple of years ago, and it was a roadside police stop, but the guy, oh, let me get it, it's in the car. And the police let him go and open up the car, and out he comes with a gun, bang, 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 bang. Neither cop killed, but one cop was wounded. Mm-hmm. And they wound up because one cop was wounded. He got in the car and he drove away.
Well, I mean,
there's no reason on earth to let a hostile suspect get anywhere near his vehicle once he's gotten out of it.
Well, the fact of the matter is, you have no obligation to let someone get in your space at your home or in your carport or going to your car or from your car or getting into your car. Why on earth would you have an obligation to put these people where they can reach you? You know what they teach at police academies if you have a suspect that's armed with a knife?
Shoot him.
21 feet.
Mm-hmm.
If they get within 21 feet, you pull the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Because they can cover that ground very, very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
This guy was close enough to this woman to grab one of her wrists. You don't need to put up with this.
Well, this woman is lucky to be alive.
Mm-hmm.
She's lucky that when the alarm went off, that he just chose the better part of valor and got the hell out of there. And let's hope that he's not bold or stupid enough to ever return to her address.
Oh, I don't think he'll come back there. But you know what? Until they catch him, he'll go somewhere else.
2 blocks down the street, next street over, it'll happen.
Or next community over. He might go to Zachary.
All right, let's take a break, take care of a little bit of business, and we'll be back. By the way, in our second hour, we're going to go into the psychology of people who riot, loot, and burn. Dr. Carole Lieberman will be our guest coming up in hour 2 of Exiles TV.
That's right, the Clarence Buggs Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Belello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Belello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with The Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Hey, welcome back. It's Exiles TV, and we're so glad to have you with us. So, are you worried in this day and age? Are you worried that eventually unrest and the, I don't know what I want to call it, the you got it so I want it mentality is going to come knocking on your door or lay wait for you in your carport? And what are you going to do about it? Or are you going to do anything about it? If you know, we're lucky. We live in a community where everybody seems to still understand the value of police. Nobody in Baton Rouge, despite what happened in 2016, has said defund the police. Hell, it's bad enough that nobody's talking about defunding the police. They need funding so they can give their cops some much-needed raises.
Oh yeah.
But when you've got cities with an atmosphere of defund the police, when you've got attorneys general in cities saying, well, the looters might need the stuff, so you should just let them take it. What? Excuse me? What? You needed that 54-inch TV you were humping on your back, didn't you, Junior?
Not the way it works in our society.
It's not the way it works. And what do you do when you have attorneys general that are saying basically it's okay for people to loot and you shouldn't do anything about it? What I'm saying is maybe I'm over imaginative, but I think that kind of talk gives license to people to do all kinds of crap.
Oh, I don't think you're being over imaginative at all. Again, I believe in the Constitution, and I don't have a problem if people want to protest about brown M&Ms. That's okay with me until such time as they break a window or toss a bottle or break through a store or grab something that doesn't belong to them or assault somebody. After that, they do not have my support. And I think the biggest problem, last night, video from Portland, they had some extremely difficult arrests. Mm-hmm. They were very, very violent. They took 4 or 5 state police officers. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, I can't help but draw the conclusion that allowing what is basically lawlessness in the streets for 25 days and now going in to make arrests makes it harder.
Oh, yeah.
If they had arrested...
They've been getting away with any damn thing they want for nearly a month. Now you're going to go in and tell them they have to stop?
If they had made arrests the very first night for those who deserve to be arrested, mm-hmm. this would not be as difficult as it is right now. And I wish I could remember who wrote this, but somebody wrote about allowing the violent side of protests to continue over a period of days increases what's called the pack mentality. Mm-hmm. And, you know, there are a lot of these people that will go to any kind of a protest. I was reading a story about somebody who witnessed something somewhere. And, well, yeah, he said he spent the entire summer protesting. He's been, you know, at 35 different protests in 25 different cities. All right, I can't do anything with him. He just digs protesting.
He's a waste. He's gone.
He just digs protesting. Mm-hmm. Now, he says he has not looted or hit anybody or anything like that, but he digs protesting. But there are a lot of disaffected people who will listen to anybody that tells them they're terrific for doing this. They're going to treat them like their personal messiah, even if they don't know S from S, and are filling their minds full of crap. But you know what? When that person steps over the line, leaves the sidewalk, and goes into the door of a store, and they get met and cuffs are put on them, and they get put in the back of a car and they get processed, that makes their messiah look a whole lot different to them. I'm not saying we should go out there like Bull Connor in Selma, Alabama. But I'm saying is from the very first protest in your city, and I don't care if it's Lafayette or Baton Rouge or Tulsa or St. Louis, or Vladivostok, the minute anyone deviates from a peaceful protest, the arrest should be immediate to that. And when law enforcement people, prosecutors, mayors, police chiefs say, we are just worried about making it worse, we think our presence will make it worse, turn in your badge.
Yeah, you need to get another job.
Resign from your office, because you know what? That is just kicking the can down the road, and everybody knows it. Do your job. And you've got two. You can't hinder those who are protesting peacefully, but you can arrest those who are looting, destroying property, committing assaults. That you can do.
When police chief, we're seeing Portland, Seattle, other cities, police chiefs not doing their job because they're being choked back in a lot of cases by their mayor and also by their district attorney. That's the problem you have, and I'm sorry I'm going to get political here, Bill, but in these Democrat-controlled cities, because there can be no doubt that the Democrats identify with the rioters and the looters. The science of this thing is, and it's tried and true, the more miserable people are when it comes time to vote for their next president, the less likely they are to vote for the incumbent. They generally tend to blame the incumbent for whatever misery they're perceiving or experiencing. And that's what's going on in America right now, is we have heightened misery and heightened fear going on in every major city with the threat that it's going to come to your town too.
Well,
and now we're actually starting to see it. The people that have been condoning it, refusing to speak out against it, are now trying to lay it at the feet of the incumbent president.
Well, also, they're trying now to regain control of their cities, and they can't do it. And if I am a police officer in Portland, I'm looking at the mayor and saying, you left all of us out to dry for 25 days, which is why now the state police is coming in and doing the arresting. And we will have a conversation after all of this.
By the way, the acting head of Department of Homeland Security has sent a letter to the mayor of Portland, basically skewering the mayor, saying this is all you're doing, every bit of it.
Well, and the problem with that is, because it has become political, that just causes people to dig in more. Because you cannot afford, if you're sitting in the chair, to backpedal because this guy in Washington sent you a letter and he doesn't agree with you politically.
Well,
so there's enough stupidity to go along.
He sent him a letter
around.
because the White House had already said, do you want help? Do you want us to send in some federal help? And they said, no, we don't want any federal help from you. Next thing you know, their city's on fire.
What they need to do is they need to resolve their issue and do it quickly. And in the future, you must act from day one. And you know what? I don't ever want to hear a mayor or a police chief say, I'm afraid to get in there that it might make people worse. I mean, the hell would have happened if Marty McAuliffe had said that in World War II at the Battle of the Bulge?
I'm thinking of a word. It begins with a P, and I'm not sure I can say it on the television program.
No, you can't. But here's the whole thing. Your job is very clearly defined. You will not be violating the tenets of your job or your oath of office if you simply follow the law. And all of this, well, they're upset, I'm going to give them a break. No, there is no place for that in the law in this country. You can empathize with them if they're upset. You can tell them you're upset too. But at the same time, you can't let them tear things up that aren't theirs. I mean, I can remember being very upset when my little brother broke a favorite toy of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And I had it in my hand. I was going to break one of his. And my dad said, "Don't do that."
2 wrongs.
He said, "You're going to regret it if you do that because you're going to get punished by me. And then later on in life, your brother's going to remember you did that."
Did he break the toy by accident or on purpose?
See, I was at the point where I didn't care.
Yeah.
And I think that's what
Well,
you
but
have.
looking back as a calmer person now, was it accident or was it on purpose?
I think he was playing rough with it. So it was a little bit of both.
Okay.
But
see, because I might have done the same thing if it were on purpose.
Yeah, but the point is that it is just as it is not the job of these demonstrators to quote unquote treat the establishment or the government a lesson, it is not the job of the police department to hand out lessons to people that are breaking the law. It is their job to arrest them, charge them, and put them into the system. Period. It is just that damn simple.
Yep. But it's not that simple anymore, is it, Bill? Now we're being asked by, like I said, district attorneys and attorneys general to let these people continue to do what they're doing.
If you don't mind here, we have become cowards.
Yes.
In our offices. If you remember with, what's that preacher's name up in Central?
Reverend Tony Spell.
Yeah. When he kept violating the terms of his bail and they didn't take him in, and I asked somebody I respect, can you do something about that? Well, yeah, anybody can file a motion with the court to force them to carry out their job and revoke his bail.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you do that? Well, because I'm going to have to practice in front of that judge, and he's going to remember I'm the one that embarrassed him. I said, by forcing him to do his job. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's what we've become.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we become. Nobody is going to go after the police chief in Seattle for malfeasance, for negligence, for not doing their job.
The police chief in Seattle tried to do her job.
Mm-hmm.
And she was forbidden from doing her job, and she wound up resigning her job.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the whole point. If somebody in a mayor's office says, I want you to leave these protesters alone, then if you are the police chief, you have to say, that is not a lawful order. I will leave alone those who are minding their own business. I will not leave alone those who are breaking the law.
Excellent point. As we go to break, this is the thought. As a police chief or police officer, your first duty is to the law, not to the mayor, and not to the district attorney, to the law.
And we've all become chicken, all of us.
Exiles TV will be right back.
For total home pest control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I am Dr. Carole Jr., and I am a general dentist at Fruget Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis. not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Clarence Bugg Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bugg Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. Glad to have you along with us, Bill Profita, Kevin Gallagher.
Yep.
Coming up to the top of the hour. Now, you had some thoughts you wanted to explore on this side of this break.
You mean the Saints thing?
No, we were talking about the protesters in the street and
the
and the police.
My thing with the police is this: police have a job to do, and as I said, your first duty, if you're a cop, and especially if you're the chief of police, your first duty is to the law and the truth. The law and the truth. That's what you're supposed to be about, getting down to and finding out what is the truth, and obeying and enforcing the law. If your boss or anybody who stands above you in the food chain tells you not to perform said duty, if you're a police chief and you're the right kind of police chief, you say, I'm sorry, I can't do that. I have to obey the law. And it angers me when I see police officers and police chiefs that are willing to pull back off of these. Part of me understands, it's like, I don't want my resources threatened, my officers, my team, my brothers and sisters. I don't want them threatened by this nonsense. But are you just going to stand there and let them destroy your city?
But see, that's not the reason that these mayors are ordering these officers to stand down.
Well, they're afraid of that everything will escalate. It's like, escalate? Your city's on fire.
No, they're afraid of not getting any votes from people who support this lawlessness. And we all know in a lot of these cities, I'm sorry, it's a fact. You have to get a certain amount in most major cities in this country of lawless
POS?
No.
What's the word you're looking for?
Perpetual lawbreakers and
POS.
Their supporters votes to get elected.
You know, the irony of it is, when you look at these crowds, how many of these kids, and I say kids, they're younger than me, but how many of these younger people do you think actually hit the polls and vote? We found out from elections past, including the one where they're all so shocked that Donald Trump won. Well, he might not have if you've gotten your ass out and voted, but so many of you didn't. And I don't trust the rioters. I don't trust them to take part in the American election system, because they're basically Marxists anyway.
Well, the thing is, we can't prevent anybody from taking part in the election process if they're over the age of 18 and they're legal citizens. But what we can do is we can start looking at legitimate redress. If I have a business in Portland and the police chief is told by the mayor, and it's on public record, stay away from the protests, do not make any arrests, and my business gets vandalized or looted or burned, I need to have a fast track to the court to sue the mayor for giving that order. to sue the police for not doing their job. We don't have that now.
I was looking at a very sad piece from one of the local news sources in Kenosha, Wisconsin. And it was a story about a woman who had a shop. It had been her dream to open that shop, and she had operated that shop for the better part of 40 years. And there she is standing there outside the smoking, burnt-out ruin of what was once her shop. 40 years invested in her business. Now, yes, she'll probably get insurance, and there'll probably be some kind of federal money, you know, blah, 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 and she'll probably eventually, but she didn't deserve to be burnt out in the first place.
The point is, whatever happened to conventional wisdom of if Johnny talks in school and he gets away with it, it's not going to stop him from talking the next time or the others who have seen it. I think we have a call there. HB.
Once again, our friend HB, who is a former law enforcement officer, joins us. HB, what's your take?
Good morning. On the topic y'all talking about, if you correct, this is probably going to make somebody mad, but it doesn't matter to me anymore. But do you remember the protest that occurred in Baton Rouge not long ago where the people obstructed traffic? The officers went in there and told them to move, and they did not move. Arrests were made, including resisting arrest, and the DA did not prosecute one of them.
That was Government Street. Bill Profito was on the air for like 8 hours that day.
I was there. Yes, I remember exactly
right
what
across
you're
the
talking
street.
about.
He was right across the street.
So I take it you believe what we're just saying is if you let them get away with lawlessness, there will be more.
Well, what I'm talking about, several of my friends were officers on the force at that time that I've talked to. And it made them feel like a fool that they went put their lives on the line to do their job, and then the DA not do anything.
I remember one officer had teeth knocked out of his head.
Yeah.
A piece of curb was thrown at him.
Thank you, sir.
All right,
Thank you,
HB.
HB.
Take
Appreciate
good care.
you, man. Interesting. Did we lose him? There we go.
I've always thought that the logic is inescapable. That you are paid to enforce the law. That you are not paid to do a philosophical or sociological analysis on what makes the man throw the brick through the window, then climb inside and help himself to merchandise. That is not your job. It is probably not even the job of the courts.
My attitude about it is also this. When you allow looting, aren't police isn't theft a crime?
Certainly.
Now, if you were shoplifting from that store and you were caught shoplifting, what would they do? Call the police.
Right.
The police would come, and especially if you were caught in flagrante with the merchandise, off you go to jail. So now, because you're wearing a mask over your face and there are 20 of you or 30 of you, the police are supposed to just stand back and say, well, you know, they might be needy. They might need clothes.
You know, and I don't think that's what they're thinking. I think what they're thinking of is...
I think what the average cop is thinking is, I'd like to be in there busting heads right now, but the chief won't let me.
Well, and the paperwork is going to be onerous, and we're not going to get any support, and we might be outnumbered because there's too few of us at this particular location. You know, that's the whole thing. And I remember when people were protesting about the amount of force applied in the visual and how that was supposed to be frightening. Yes, it is supposed to be frightening. It's supposed to be intimidating. It's supposed to make you stop your bad behavior and comply. If the cop was out there wearing a Speedo, handing out flowers, I don't think I'd be as inclined to him saying, get your butt off this street.
We're going to carry this topic forward into the next hour when we're going to talk with Dr. Carole Lieberman, who's going to share some insights into the psychology of people who riot, loot, and burn. Exiles TV, Hour 2, on the way next.
Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances. Your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hello. Hola. 你好.
Experience what the Baton Rouge International School can offer your children. Now welcoming displaced students for short and long-term stability.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Exiles from what you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now, we're on your television.
I'm Bill Profita, he's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
To Exiles TV. Glad to have you with us. Bill, before we get back on the topic of the looting and the burning and the destruction of America from within, you're into aviation.
Yes.
You actually sit on the airport commission here in Baton Rouge.
That is correct.
You'd be interested in this story if you haven't already seen it. Two American Airlines pilots, pilot and co-pilot, on approach on Sunday to LAX, one of the busiest airports in the nation.
Oh, yeah.
Reported seeing a man in a jetpack, about 300 feet off their wing.
Whoa.
A man in a jetpack, close to LAX. They were on approach. They were on descent approach to LAX at about, now this is where the story gets weird, 3,000 feet. 3,000 feet. No man in a jetpack has ever hit that altitude.
Until now.
Ever. So the questions are, if it was indeed a man in a jetpack, you know, how did he reach that altitude? Was he, 3,000 feet, you shouldn't have trouble breathing. But still, that's pretty damned high in a jetpack, which could malfunction any moment. The other thing is, jetpacks, as we know them, are what they used to call the rocket belt, the Bell rocket belt that was used in the James Bond movie. Those are only good for about 45 seconds of flight.
Mm-hmm.
So what was this guy using? Was it an actual jetpack, some kind of an induction fan, or was it something else entirely? But the big question is, if it was just what the guy said, man in a jetpack, that close to LAX.
Well, you know, that small would probably not get a radar return that approach control could see. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's why, you know, almost everybody now in the air uses a transponder.
Mm-hmm.
They squawk, and that shows up where your image is or isn't, if you're too small at too much of a distance. But I would tend to think it probably wasn't a jetpack. I would think it could have been a drone that looked like a man in a jetpack.
Interesting. That seems like a lot of trouble.
Yeah, but you know, there are people that build
attach a dummy to some kind of drone construct.
There's people that build all these kind of strange experimental things. You know, cars that fly and all that. But they're good drone pilots and good manufacturers. But either way, what has anybody beside these two pilots commented? Has the FAA said anything about it?
Not yet. This only happened on Sunday and was reported in the news yesterday. But I think that's just extremely odd at 3,000 feet. Drones don't generally go up as high as 3,000 feet.
Well, I mean,
because a drone is controlled.
Yeah.
And you get out of control range, and your drone is just going to fly away.
Yeah.
So
that was that's kind of odd. Did they say how close to the airplane it was?
They said he was approximately 300 feet off their wing. 300 feet. Now, if you see viral video up close and personal of an American Airlines jet from the side of the jet, we'll know that it might have actually been a real guy in a jetpack.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Well, if he was that close and that airplane made a big old turn, they would have blown him out of the sky.
Yeah. And just imagine if he would have been like in line of sight of the cockpit. Directly in line of sight of the cockpit. If you thought it was a man up there with some kind of flight gear, you'd want to avoid him. And when you're on downward approach at 3,000 feet, your maneuvers are limited. I guess 3,000 feet you could pull up and circle around one more time, I guess. You know more about this than me.
Well,
but at what point are you committed to land?
Well, you're not committed until you're actually about 15, 20 feet off the runway.
Oh, really?
And there's a little switch that everybody likes. It's called toga. It means take off, go around. You hit this switch, and without doing anything, your jets go to full thrust. Your nose pitches up. You take the yoke. You retract the gear. And off you go. Because you land in a commercial jet in exactly the same configuration as when you take off.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the same amount of flaps, unless the winds have changed, and you might have a little more, a little less, okay, to give you extra lift at low speed. And you're always landing and taking off into the wind where that's possible. Now, some airports don't have crosswind runways, and it makes it a little trickier. But I actually did experience a toga landing once.
Wow.
It gets your attention. We were going into O'Hare on Christmas night about 20 years ago, and it was a really, really bad snowstorm. And we were descending and descending and descending and descending and descending, and finally broke out of the snow clouds and could see the airport. And next thing I know, I had about 2 G's pushing me back in my seat. The nose was up. Captain came on and said, somebody just crossed the runway at our threshold area. And our go around was a big swing. We almost hit the eastern shore of Lake Michigan in our go around.
That's a big go around.
Yeah.
Yikes.
But yeah, I've done it and don't want to do it again.
We're going to return to the topic of rioting, looting, and burning in America's cities, and we're going to talk with a psychiatrist, Dr. Carole Lieberman, about that. That's coming up in minutes on Exiles TV.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling. Desire in your eyes, but you can't keep it in your heart.
That's right, the Clarence Bug Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. I'm Bill Profita. The man on the phone is Kevin Gallagher. He's talking to his bookie. He's making a bet on the opening LSU game as we speak.
Yes,
take the points, Kevin. Take the points.
Call you in about 6
Glad to have you
minutes.
with us on Exiles TV this morning. We've been talking about crime. We're going to be talking with Dr. Carole Lieberman, by the way, in just a few minutes about rioting in the streets, things of that nature.
We're live, so I've got to rush.
One of the things I want to tell you about is if you want to help the people who were impacted last Thursday and Friday, did you get your bet down?
Just making sure. She thought we were going to Skype. Our guest.
She thought we were going to Skype.
Did you get your bet down? Go ahead, please.
I told everybody you're talking to your bookie. See, you're not binaural when it comes to listening. You can only listen to one thing at a time.
Making sure our guest knew that we were going to call her in a few minutes.
We told you about donating money to the Southwest Louisiana Area Foundation. If you are a blood donor, or even if you're not, now is a good time to donate blood to replenish the supply in the wake of Hurricane Laura. Our friends over at LifeShare are doing some continuous blood drives, as are our friends at Our Lady of the Lake Regional Medical Center Blood Bank. You can just go in. Most donor centers are open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday, Saturday, 8 to 3 p.m. They're also operating a lot of mobile drives. But if you are able to give blood and you'd like to give blood, there are a lot of people there that require blood. I mean, their need for surgeries and things like that still goes on. Mm-hmm. There are people that have been injured that need blood products. They have not moved everybody out of the hospitals in that area.
It's not just the blood need in the impacted area. We've had a hurricane come through, and it's majorly just disrupted the whole stream of operations of collecting and distributing blood. So now more than ever, please, if you can, get out and donate some blood.
Yeah, the blood centers are reporting that in our area without an emergency, we go through about 400 units of blood every 2 days. And they're also reporting that their collections, the day before the hurricane, the day of the hurricane, the day after the hurricane, et cetera, have been down by about that amount every single day. So go and give if you can.
Mm-hmm. And we will thank you for it.
Yes,
I went through a health period of getting treated for high blood pressure. And the way I became aware that I had high blood pressure was we'd have these, through radio, we'd have these blood donation events. And every time I would do one as a radio event, I would feel you can't very well come and talk about it on the radio unless you're willing to roll up your sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
And 3 times in a row I was told, sorry, Mr. Gallagher, high blood pressure, can't take you. Can't take your blood, no thank you very much. And I never realized that high blood pressure was the problem it was.
Yep.
And then I started reading up on it. And, it's the sort of thing that some simple meds can get it all straightened right away. And hell, my blood pressure is as normal as can be now. And I'm wondering now that I've gotten that squared away, can I go back to donating blood?
I bet you can.
Or is there something in my blood pressure meds that would prevent that?
There are some meds that if you take them every day and you're not allowed to skip them, will disqualify you from being a blood donor. I'm not sure that there are a lot of blood pressure meds that are on that list. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're taking a blood thinner every day, that may disqualify you. But all you just ask, say, here's what I'm taking. Can you take my blood?
And they'll tell me yes or no.
Yeah.
I have to go by today after
And
the
don't
show's
ask.
over.
Don't ask that guy that does your inseam at the tailor shop.
Donating blood
He's
was
not right.
Donating blood was a thing in our family. My father, over the course of his lifetime, until he donated blood until he was well into his 70s,
Mm-hmm.
and over the course of his lifetime, gallons.
Oh, I bet hundreds of gallons.
Gallons of blood he gave away. I mean, he used to get pins for it from the Red Cross when he hit milestones. So it's always been something that's ingrained in my brothers and my sister and I to donate blood whenever we can.
I went back once after my heart surgery, and they said too soon. And I have not, and shame on me, been back since. I need to go back as well, because I'm pretty sure I can donate again.
I'll have to stop by the house, get the meds, drop by, say this is what I'm on. Can I do it?
Mm-hmm. And I'll go with you.
Goodness gracious, it takes a half an hour maybe.
I'll go with you.
Yeah?
Yeah, and I'll say, tell him about the acyclovir, Kevin. Tell him about the acyclovir.
The nice thing
Just kidding.
nice thing about these blood drives is there's usually some good eats, and they give away free stuff. And if you got a T-shirt collection, you can add to that. And I mean, they're grateful as hell when you give them blood.
Did you ever experience this? When I was giving on a regular basis, I always felt a little peppier for 3 or 4 days after I gave blood.
After you'd given blood?
Yeah, and they told me that there are some people that get that as a normal reaction. That they just feel a little more revitalized.
Your body's making new blood.
Yeah, a little more pep in its step, as it were.
Never noticed that. I always, it's not good to be prideful, but I always felt a little better about myself.
Well, you
afterwards,
should.
But
you're doing a good thing.
But if you can, please do, and encourage the young people in your life. I don't know if how many young people do you see? I think the youngest person I've ever seen donating blood at any blood drive that I attended was maybe 30.
I will tell you, when Karen was at Our Lady of the Lake, a lot of the high schools, like St. Michael and Catholic High, and St. Joseph's Academy and Parkview Baptist, a lot of these high schools would have a blood donation day, and they would either go to them or they would come to the hospital. And because you can donate at 17, you can donate, I think, at 15 with parental consent. And these kids were really good, really regular donors. So that's a good thing.
Time to take another break. When we come back, we're going to revisit rioting and violence in America's cities and the psychology of the rioters. We'll be right back.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with The Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Hi, I am Dr. Carole Jr., and I am a general dentist at Fruget Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Clarence Bugg Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bugg Show. Tell you what. Oh, wait, gotta run. Gotta go. Bye.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. Glad to have you with us this morning. I think if you are near any sort of a news outlet in the world, you have been seeing a lot of coverage of protests that have turned to rioting and looting. You have seen police inaction. You've seen police action that a lot of people think is very harsh, and a lot of it is because they had days and days of inaction and then had to wade in with state police or National Guard as opposed to local cops. Whatever you think of what is going on in the streets, there is a mentality that attaches to all the players in this drama. And sometimes it's hard for all of us to sort through all of this.
So we brought in an expert. Please welcome via telephone Dr. Carole Lieberman. She is an MD, an MHA. She is a board-certified psychiatrist and author. And Dr. Lieberman, thank you so much for joining us on our program.
It's a pleasure to be back.
So when we talk about what has become in cities like Portland mob violence, and it's hard to deny that it's mob violence, it's left peaceful protest in the dirt. Let's talk about the mob. I mean, is there anything collectively that can be said or individually about people that become a part of a mob?
Well, first of all, I think that this mob mentality that has been growing is more dangerous, more something to be concerned about than coronavirus. Because coronavirus, is, I mean, not to minimize that, but there are treatments. And with mob violence, well, we had better find some treatments, but that, let me tell you some of the things. I mean, I'm sure you probably saw this as well, pretty much, as you said at the beginning, anybody near a news outlet, television. Rand Paul, for example, after the GOP convention, he and his wife walking in the street, an older couple, shall we say, fortunately surrounded by police to protect them, but around the ring of the police, and not a whole lot of police, was this angry mob. And had the police not been there, they would have been killed, because just down the street there was a man about the same age who the mob attacked and punched him to the ground. And I mean, the fact that the violence, the mob violence, is so brutal and going past what we used to think was there are no holds barred now, and so that is giving rise to other people not necessarily involved in the mob, just people who using that kind of violence in their life. And an example of that is the man just a day or two ago in New York City who raped a woman midday, Upper East Side, in the subway station. Lots of people around. And when he got up, eventually people started filming him. Eventually somebody stopped him. But when he got up from, he had her down on the ground of the subway platform, and he was, beginning to rape her, had he not been interrupted. And then he went back to pick up his sunglasses as if, well, like, what are you guys looking at me for? What's the big deal?
The big deal is he tried to rape somebody.
Yeah, but what I mean is,
was he
mob
just
violence is making this kind of thing, if not acceptable, then just something that we've become desensitized to.
That's a good point, Doctor.
Yeah.
I read an article, and I can't remember the author, so you're going to forgive me. But the author talked about the more you delay legitimate police activity in the face of these rioters and looters, the more you feed into the pack mentality. And we get to the point where we're beyond Mad Max in this country. So I'm thinking my question is, can this, if it persists, take someone who is only, shall we say, mildly interested and motivate them to be an aggressive, dangerous participant? Or does it simply attract people who like the idea of lawlessness and will go like nomads, like deadheads following the Grateful Dead, to wherever they may be? Or is it both?
Well, it starts with the group who like violence to begin with, but then it is spreading out to other people in society because it just kind of makes it seem like this is what you do.
Yeah, I can see how that...
Everybody's doing it, Mom. All the cool kids are burning stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly. One thing I think of doing, like on Twitter or something, is putting a video. Well, I don't know if you can put two videos together, but whatever. My fantasy is on TV or on Twitter or social media somewhere to put two videos next to each other. One of mob violence, pick any night, any example, and then the other of animals like hyenas or some other wild animals where one animal goes in first to attack the prey, and then the other animals all gather around and they start attacking the prey. That is what it's like. Did you ever? You know what I'm talking about?
I saw a video from Portland of a single man who was not even there to protest the protestors. He was just observing. And he wound up, one guy assaulted him and put him to the ground, and then next thing you know, he was swarmed by about 7 to 9 young men, all beating and kicking, and it was horrible. And it was like watching a bunch of chimps tear apart the weakest one in their tribe.
Yes, absolutely. And that's just really scary. I mean, we have become animals. I mean, I was talking about Chaz or Chop at the very beginning about how that is Animal Farm, and we have turned into animals.
Well, what I think a lot of us wonder, and there may not be a correct answer or there may not be a group of answers, but what happens if a society says, all right, here are the lines, everybody crossing the lines is going to be dealt with immediately and have to face the criminal justice system? Does that tamp it down, or does it make it worse?
Why would it make it worse?
Well, see, there are a lot of people that argue that. I don't agree with that argument. But you're the expert, so I'm going to defer to your judgment.
Well, I mean, I know that, but that's the excuse that, like, Democrat mayors are using as for why Trump shouldn't send in the National Guard.
Well,
but the other problem also is that apparently even when these people are arrested, at least in some of the places, I have been told this by, police in various places, that even when they get arrested and brought to jail, that in cities where the sympathies, shall I say, is with the protesters, they then get let out without bail, or nothing really much happens to them, and they're back on the street, and that
Yes.
even makes it worse.
Yes, this is one of the things that the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security is complaining of in Portland, is that people are being arrested, but they're out the very next night protesting again.
Well, and a lot of it is what they are being charged with. If you charge somebody with disturbing the peace, which in a time without riots would be you're having an argument with your spouse and you're yelling so loud that the neighbor calls the cop and the cop tells you to calm down and you don't, that's a ticket, so they don't hold you. Now, if they charge these people correctly, they will have to actually see someone to set a monetary bail. They won't just be let out, and that's the problem. You hear, well, we arrested 40 people. I want to know what you charged them with.
Right.
If you charge them with disturbing the peace, they're out the minute you take their booking photo.
Citation.
Because that's what happens every day, and you can't amp up the penalties because of this. But if they were actually breaking a store window, now you can charge them with burglary. And it's different. And that's the thing. Pardon my French, we don't have any balls in this country anymore when it comes to this.
Yep, absolutely. There was just something last night in Portland, a new wrinkle. They protested, or they rioted outside the home of the mayor.
Yeah, then she decided it was a riot.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they committed arson and all of that there. Yes, and so we'll see now what happens, whether they all of a sudden want the police to help. I'm sure that they were really happy when the police eventually came once the fire started. I'm sure they were up there in their apartment thinking, where are the police, right?
Well, Dr. Lieberman, as a psychiatrist, you deal with an awful
I'm
lot
watching
of,
video right now
Yeah.
of them just destroying parked cars just for the hell of it.
You deal with an awful lot of people that have a wide variety of disruption, shall we say, in their mental acuity. And I think that you would back me up saying the way you talk about these things has impact, that you cannot say we are going to keep the police back without expecting a negative impact from those who are there strictly to tear things up and set things on fire. Why do these heads of city governments and police departments not understand that they are communicating a license for bad behavior?
Well, I think that they do. I think, though, that the points, their points, I think that between the mayors and the protesters, the mayors, the DAs, who give the light sentence, the sheriffs, well, I don't think it's not so much the fault of the sheriffs, but the DAs, the people who decide what they're going to charge them with, it's all political. It's just a political problem. Now, they're trying to do this to show that the country is falling apart, and therefore that's why we shouldn't re-elect Trump, when really it's the opposite, because if we elect Biden and he wakes up out of his basement, comes up out of his basement, and sees that, watches television, and sees, what's happening in the world, he's not going to have the balls to do anything about it. And then the people behind him, their solution is not really going to be one that's going to help. It's, and of course, here's the real issue, that no matter who wins, well, I don't know about no matter who wins, but there is going to be a problem, likely, after the election, because of this whole vote-by-mail fiasco.
Yep.
And so that's going to give rise to more people who aren't happy with what the results seem to be showing to come out in the street.
Dr. Lieberman, we're going to take a quick pause, take care of a little bit of business. We're talking with Dr. Carole Lieberman. She is a board-certified psychiatrist and author, and we're talking about the psyche. What kind of person wants to be part of a group that loots and burns and destroys? And when we come back, I also want to examine the possible mental health damage being done to the rest of us by all this that we're witnessing. So we're going to take a quick pause, and we'll be right back with Dr. Carole Lieberman on Exiles TV.
Belello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Belello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
That's right, the Clarence Bug Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
We're back. It's Exiles TV. We're talking about the looting, burning, and mob violence that's going on in major cities like Portland, Seattle, Minneapolis, also not so major cities like Kenosha, Wisconsin. And there's been quite a bit of unrest in Washington, D.C., in and around the Republican National Convention, which has been very, very worrisome. Our guest is Dr. Carole Lieberman. She is a board-certified psychiatrist and author, and we thank you for being with us. I wanted to talk to you about the risks of mental health for the rest of us, those of us who obey the law and watch this nightly on the news. Now, for going on 90 days, we've watched our cities tear themselves apart. What kind of problems can that raise with people?
Well, yes, it is very destructive. That's what I was at the beginning. I was saying, how it's even worse than coronavirus at this point. in terms of a lot of things, in terms of the destruction of our country, in terms of the destruction of people's mental health. I mean, of course, it's depressing. It's anxiety-provoking. There's talk, of course, about will coronavirus stop people from going out to vote? But, will mob violence, the risk of having mobs at the polling places, will that stop people from voting? I think that that's probably more of a risk even at this point than coronavirus, because people can wear masks and, you can do things certainly to make polling places safe in terms of coronavirus. So, yes, and then when kids see this on television, what is it's telling them this is okay. I mean, the protesters look like they're having so much fun when they loot, first of all, when they run into stores and take out things that they want, and then when they're beating up people and trancing. All this kind of stuff, it makes kids think, oh, I'd like to go out there and do that, Even tiny kids who don't really understand what's going on, but they make it look fun. And, of course, another part of this, another reason why this is everybody's exploding, besides the political and besides the fact that the coronavirus has impacted our mental health to begin with, it's also something that I was talking about in the 90s, about when I was 5. I was talking about how, and I didn't make this up. I mean, I wasn't the first one to say this, but there have been studies for decades, going back before the 90s, of violent media, violent television shows, violent films, war toys, and then, of course, video games came. Violent video games.
Rap music, very violent message.
Yes, and I was saying about how this is like a virus. It's making the studies have shown that the more violent video games or violent entertainment you consume, the more aggressive you become. And not everybody joins the protesters, but fighting over a parking spot, or domestic violence, or child abuse, things like that. And of course, you can bet that most of the people who are out there protesting, you can bet that they have spent hours and hours during their life, whether as a child or as a teenager or some point in their life, watching these violent video games, and that has fueled their being able to explode now in such violence.
Dr. Lieberman, I'm the perfect parent because we've never had any children, so I've never made a mistake. But I remember watching my younger siblings growing up, and my dad and mom were like, don't criticize their boyfriend or girlfriend because that's just going to make them dig in harder. And I am hearing firsthand now of friends of ours that have college-age kids, and the kids are coming home because they're not in class, on campus, and they're telling their parents, oh, well, come on, Mom, come on, Dad. These people, they don't have anything. So that's why they're looting. It's not because they're criminals. I understand why they're doing it. And where does this leave a parent when they've given their kid everything, probably too much, and their kid is saying, yeah, let them go and steal from Target. Let them, break into a jewelry store. I understand. I empathize with them.
Yes, that is absolutely. I have families that I'm treating where that has happened, so I know you're absolutely right. And part of it is because they haven't lived long enough to understand. Mm-hmm. And part of it is, yes. I mean, the thing is, for those people who, you can sympathize or empathize with people's poverty or whatever, but that does not give them the justification or reparations. Now this whole thing, oh, it's just reparations. Whoa. That putting the question of whether reparations are necessary or appropriate or not, that doesn't give anyone license to go in and steal someone else's stuff. But part of it is because this is what they are taught in school. This is because of the teachers who are promoting this kind of thinking. This is because, and I don't remember if we talked about this before, but about the fact that these are the generations that were born that were children or were just born right after 9/11. And they grew up with parents who were feeling helpless because of 9/11. And they then have been feeling like they want the government to take care of them because this is what they absorbed, basically, from their parents. Not that their parents wanted the socialism or wanted the government to take care of them, but they absorbed this feeling of helplessness. And so they feel a need to be taken care of. So that then allows them to empathize with people who are even less fortunate, not even less fortunate. I mean, a lot of these families are quite comfortable. The families of the college kids I'm talking about. But that allows them, they can kind of connect with this feeling of helplessness.
Well, and you're a lot nicer than I am. I'm going to put it this way.
That's for sure.
All of these kids have never worked without a net. And when I've talked with these people whose kids are giving them all of this, the first thing I say, well, why don't you let them really empathize? Why don't you cut them off? And they all look at me like I've grown a third eye. But these kids have never worked with a net, at least the white kids.
Yes. I'll tell you a story. I'm treating a family where the girl, she's the college girl, and she was home because of COVID. And she had parked in a parking lot near a fast food place. And when she got back to her car, someone hit her car. And she, the police came to her parents' house. She didn't see anybody around. The police came to the parents' house a little while later, and because someone had called the police, and they said that this girl, it was like the front or the back, and so they called and told the police that this girl, this college girl, had hit someone, had hit the car in front of her or in back of her, and they were blaming her for the damage to somebody else's car.
Wow.
Now, as it turns out, it was this woman who worked in the fast food place, and so the college girl didn't want her parents to make a fuss or to complain to the girl's insurance, because she sympathized with her, and she was one of these things. She was working in a fast food place.
Interesting.
She doesn't have much money. All of that kind of. So this is, so she'd rather that her parents pay for the damage to her car than that they tell the police or tell the insurance company that this other girl did it.
I don't want to get her into trouble.
Dr. Lieberman, I have one final question, and our time is running nigh, so I'll try and make it as quick as possible. We know that there are Marxist radicals that were Marxist radicals 30, 35, 40 years ago, and they still are. I worry about the future. How many of these young people do you think it's a phase they're going to go through and they'll grow out of it and eventually become decent people, decent American tax-paying citizens? Or are we going to hand over our country to Marxist radicals within the next 30 years?
Well, I think it all depends on this next election. If Biden wins, we are going to become, we're going to have more rioting in the streets, and we're going to become, the puppets who control him will make Marxist, socialist rulings, laws.
Well, and that's where we need to leave it. Always a pleasure to have you with us, Dr. Carole Lieberman. And next time, we'll see if we can't do Skype, but either way, if you're in our neighborhood, since you got all dressed up just to make a phone call, we'll buy you lunch. We'll buy you lunch next time you're in town.
All right, sounds good.
Dr. Lieberman, thank you for being our guest. We hope to talk again soon.
Okay,
Take
bye-bye.
care. Nice lady. And very knowledgeable, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you can tell she leans conservative, but I think, you don't have to necessarily be a Trumpster to not want to see our country torn to pieces.
Well, and what bothers me more, and I saw a little of this in the 60s, is the obligation of a lot of people whose parents are supporting them hand, foot, and fingernail they almost feel an obligation to be exceptionally liberal. Now, most of them grow out of it. I don't mind. My cousin Rick is a little older than I am. Rick went to Northwestern University, got a very fine education. Now, I will say that he worked and had scholarships and paid for that very expensive education.
Mm-hmm.
But he was a very, liberal thinker at the time. When he got out, he got his first job in finance, and that all of a sudden changed him around to being a moderate, sensible conservative because he understood the folly of trying to support a system that refuses to support itself.
I think it was Margaret Thatcher that said, the facts of life are conservative. And the older you get, the more you understand that. We're going to take a break and be right back and wrap things up for today's Exiles TV in just a moment. Stay there.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Fruget Jr., and I am a general dentist at Fruget Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Clarence Bug Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bug Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. Once again, Dr. Carole Lieberman, we thank her for her time, and if you're interested in more of her insights, just do a simple Google search. I mean, she's the first thing that comes up if you type in Carole Lieberman, put an E at the end of Carole, and then L-I-E, B-E-R-M-A-N, Dr. Carole Lieberman.
First thing that comes up. That was her name in high school.
Mm-hmm.
First thing that comes up.
Shame on you. After she spent all that time, and then you do. We want you to join us on our show on Thursday. We're going to talk a little bit more about some of these violent incidents that have been going on.
I didn't say it was something bad.
I asked attorney at law Franz Borghardt to join us. He is a defense attorney, and I asked him to give us his feelings on the Kyle Rittenhouse case. Now, if you don't know the name Kyle Rittenhouse, he is the 17-year-old man who is going to be going on trial for second-degree murder. He was involved in some of the rioting in Kenosha, Wisconsin. He was trying to help a friend defend their business. And he was set upon by rioters, and he wound up shooting 3. 2 of them are dead. And now he's going to be on trial for second-degree murder. If you look at 3 different pieces of video shot from 3 different angles, though, I'm no lawyer, but it looks to me like he was defending himself.
Well, he probably was defending himself, but
did he put himself in a position where he would have to defend himself?
Well, the thing is, I looked into the background. This poor kid, you want to talk about need a bridge center, a mental health intake center. As one of the neighbors said of his mom, those kids never had a chance, he and his two sisters. But what they're going to have a hard time getting around is that he traveled across a state line with a gun that he was not entitled to possess.
It was loaned to him, yeah.
Yeah, so that he could go to where the conflict was happening. They're going to have a hard time getting around that.
Yeah, there are some mitigating, like for instance, where the shootings took place was a half a block or more from the business that he was reportedly defending. So
Yes.
that means that at some point he either ran to where the crowd was or was giving chase or whatever, but then they chased him back and he was on the retreat when somebody threw something at him, then he got hit in the head with a skateboard, and that's when he opened fire.
Well, I feel bad because I don't think a 17-year-old, particularly one with his background, I don't think that he is ideally poised to make good decisions.
But, Bill, there are going to be other Kyle Rittenhouse cases. There are going to be other cases where American citizens, it's been 90 days. We're getting tired of this crap.
Well,
and there's going to be more and more people, maybe not some of the smartest and most judgmental people, or least judgmental people, are going to be taking up arms and trying to stop this crap from
But
happening.
the thing is, if you are an adult and you are legally entitled to possess a firearm, and it is your business or your brother's business, and you are there in defense of it, I don't have a problem on you. I don't have a problem with you. If you are from out of state, out of town, and you're armed yourself up so you can walk into a conflict that is not your job, then you're going to have a hard time justifying that behavior to a reasonable person.
Well, we'll talk with Franz Borghardt about that from his legal standpoint, and he will share his opinion on the video as he sees it. And what if he were representing Kyle Rittenhouse? Also, the district attorney of East Baton Rouge Parish is going to be with us again on Thursday, Hiller Moore Jr. We have escalating crime. How is he dealing with it? How are he and his staff dealing with it?
A lot going on. We hope you will stay with us. A reminder, replay at 10 p.m. this evening. If you missed something or you would like to direct one of your friends to watch, we certainly would appreciate that.
God bless.
Take care.